Good morning, this is Mr. Warren. I'm the 6th grade language arts teacher. Today I want to just talk to you about creating folders and documents so that you can turn in your assignments. I think earlier in the year I thought that perhaps a way that students could turn them in was just in the submission box, but I'm finding out that as we go through your assignments, it's asking you to turn in links to your drive and your assignments. So I really need to show you how to do that. If you haven't been doing that, I want you to start doing that. So that's what I'm showing you today. So in week 7, we go down to where our assignments are. We can see that we had some iReady assignments. You're supposed to be getting those done. We also had a review. We had an exam. But when we get down to our first lesson, it's on Tuesday. And it says, to each its own. And we can see that in the instructions it says, in the submission box, you're going to be asked to list the themes or lessons expressed in each of the fairy tales you read in this lesson. So as you're going through, it's going to be giving you some information. Then it's going to ask you to put it in that submission box. If I just clicked right on the submission box in the past, I'd say just go ahead and you could type in your answers there. And certainly you could do that. But a much better way, and what I want you to start doing, and that's why the purpose of this video is for you to create folders on your computer, and to also create Word documents with inside those folders so that you can work on them much easier and more effectively. So I'm going to show you how to do that. To do that, some of you might know this, so kind of just bear with me. There are some people that don't know how to do this, and when you go into your email, the first thing you have to do is you've got to go find your Google Drive. This is where you would find it, where it says Google Apps. You click on this spot right here where all the dots are, and then you just come down to where it says Drive. When the Drive opens up, the first thing you need to do is create a folder for all of your different assignments. You just come over to where it says Drive, you drop down to where it says New, and then you tell it to create a folder by double clicking on it. When you double click on it, it's going to open up that new folder. It doesn't have a name. I want you to give it the name Language Arts, and you can also give it the year. You can also create other folders for your other classes, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to be talking about Language Arts. Once you've given it a name and you tell it to create, when you click on it, it's going to automatically, the first time you click on it, open up right to that folder. You can see it right there. There's no documents in it, and we want to start getting some documents in there. So we have to double click to open it up. Once you double click on it, you can see that it's showing the pathway up at the top right here. First we went to my drive, we created this folder. We're actually inside the folder, but there's no documents. What we're going to do is go over here, and we're going to create our first document by clicking on the New. When it does, we just come down and we say we want a Google Docs. Alright, it's going to ask you this question to create in a shared folder. Yes. And so we're going to click on this Create and Share button. Once we're inside, we could start typing in our assignment. This is the assignment example. I'm just going to call it that. But in order to share it, it needs to have a name. So it's not, even if we wanted to go ahead and share it, if I clicked on it right now, it would say name before sharing. And certainly we could do it. We could have done it right there, but I want to just show you another way. So you just come over to this box where it says Untitled Document, and you just type in the name of the assignment. For example, I'm just putting in week 7, fairy tales. Okay? It helps when you name it after the assignment that you're working on, just so you can find it easier. All right? Now, once we've got it named and we've got some typing in there, I wanted to show you some things that you can do with it. In some of your assignments, it's going to ask you, it'll say, highlight the words. To do that, you just click and drag over a word. You go to the highlighting tool. It's right here. And then you pick a color. I recommend like a yellow or one of the lighter colors. If you pick a darker color, it's just very difficult to read, so I really don't want you to do that. Another thing you can do, though, is it might ask you to underline. So if it asks you to underline a word, the way that you do that is you click and drag over the word, and you go to this U, and that's our underlining tool, and we just click on it. Remember, the word had to have been highlighted, but then it'll do that. Another thing that you can do is if you wanted to change the font style, if you want one that maybe you prefer more, you can go like with Times New Roman. That's a good one. Stay away from these ones that are in cursive. It just makes it harder for me to read. So just stick with the fonts that are in block print. You can change the size. I wouldn't recommend going much bigger than a 12. You can make it all different sizes. You can see I could just keep clicking on this. But the reason I would say stick with a size 12 is because that's a pretty good size to read, but it's also a good size so that you don't just fill up your whole page. You'll quickly fill up your page if it's much bigger than that. Lastly, I want to talk about sharing it. When you're going to share it, you need to come over to the share button. You click on it. I really would like you to change over here where it says Another Choice Virtual Charter School. I'd like you to change it to anyone with the link. Once you do that, you've got it done. You can copy that link. Once it's copied, you could go back to your assignment, and then you could paste that link right there. It's not going to let me paste it because I'm a teacher, but as a student, you'd be able to do it. If you want to see what that would look like, I'm going to come over here and I'll just paste it. It would look something like this. My highlighting tool was on. That's not a big thing. We could take in, say, no highlighting tool, but it wouldn't have mattered even if it was highlighted. It would have been fine. I would have got it. But for you, that's how you turn it in. Now, before we get completely done, remember we've created a file here. It auto-saves. You don't have to tell it to save, so it's in there. And once you had it done, you could turn it in. However, let's go back up to that drive, and we can see, let's see if I don't know why it didn't keep our name. Let's go over here. Let's refresh. I'm just going to refresh my page. I'm sure that's what it was. I refreshed it, and now you can see it's given it that name. Remember, we called it Week 7 Fairy Tales? Well, there's one assignment. The next time you come to your drive, if you're going to work on a new assignment, again, you would just come over to where it says New, click on it. You're already in the folder, and you could say Google Docs. You can create and share a new one, and this would be your second document, and you could, just for this purpose, we'll just call it Sample. It's auto-saving, but the good thing about this is if we go back to our drive, I'm just going to drop up to our drive, you can see now we have both of them in there. And you could just keep adding more and more of your writing assignments. If it asks you to turn in all of it, sometimes it'll say turn in all of your assignments for a certain thing. You can go back up to here where you just go right to the folder. When I click on that folder, it'll say share, or I can say get the link. Either one's going to work. Let's just click share on it again, and I'm going to change it again to, I like it when you say anyone with the link, but it's got it. We copy that link, and when I share it, I'm going to show you, I clicked on done. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to paste that, and it's now giving me that folder, not just one document. It's giving me the whole folder, and so if I open that up, I can see all of the files that you have in it. Make sure that you name your files after the lessons, and then it helps me be able to find them. Well, that's all I have. I know this is a long video. Thank you. Please contact me if you have any questions.